It's good in the sense that they're always trying something new, which I respect and I admire. Any type of creativity is great. Hey, what's up, peeps? Welcome to my review of The Eternals, Marvel's latest movie and comic book adaptation of a story that I'm sure like 80% of you guys do not know, unless you're the typical comic book fan or comic book nerd. So, what do I think about Eternals? Well, I'll tell you what. Right now the critics hated it. It's got a rotten score in Rotten Potatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. Whenever I watch a movie, comic book, any type of movie, I never listen to the critics. I actually don't even like going to that Rotten Tomatoes sites because, it can influence you, definitely influence your decision whether or not you should go watch a movie, which is wrong, But if I do use Rotten Tomatoes, I always look at the audience score. And right now it's better than average, as expected, because critics, they're critics for a reason, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is I actually was apprehensive on watching this movie because I was kind of turned off a little bit by a lot of other YouTube reviewers and reviewers that I actually do respect and follow. In my opinion, I like the movie. Definitely not one of their best. I like all Marvel movies. Compared to, in my opinion, like their worst one was Thor: The Dark World. I didn't really care for that movie, but this one probably is just above that. So I don't know if that says anything or means anything, because you guys might like Thor: The Dark World. I actually like the first Thor better than that one. First Thor actually is better than this. Well, you get the picture, right? It's there's a lot better Marvel movies out there, although I still liked it. Why I liked it? The action scenes, though not many, are actually pretty good. It's a Marvel action scenes, so they're not hyper violent or anything like that. No blood. Still to this day, I don't understand that. At least in Zack Snyder's movies, there's some point of realism there, even though it's still a comic book movie. And I know, like him or hate him, definitely he's a divisive director. However, with Marvel, it's Disney, so it's typical. People hitting each other, like there's be a speck of blood, but that's neither here nor there. That's not something that takes me out of a Marvel movie. What does take me out of a Marvel movie, which I will explain in a little bit, that did it in this movie, just thankfully not like in your face, but it kind of led to my kind of apprehension of watching this movie because, if you guys have not heard or have not noticed online, and don't get me wrong, I don't follow everything that's online here, but probably the worst critic reviewed Marvel movie yet. And that's still saying something because it's like almost 30 movies, It's pretty damn good track record, if you ask me. But anyway, the obvious political, in-your-face type agendas that movies have been doing lately, which pisses me off, which gets me to not watch newer movies nowadays because I just don't like how everything has to be political. I get everything is political, but why does it have to be in your face? We get it, normal human beings get it. We get to a point where it gets tiring, and, between diversity, SJW, wokeness, you name it, any type of agenda, any type of virtue signaling or identity politics, it's in your face lately in Hollywood. And I know that's kind of, in a way, always been. It's just never been this in your face. And that's why I hated Captain Marvel. That would have been a great movie. I liked the character Captain Marvel in the comics. I liked her superpowers, but it was just I mean, talk about man hating and stuff. And it's not because I'm a guy. I actually like forgot about forgot about that movie. It's just anytime I think about anything that's politically driven, I think that movie when it came to Marvel movies. But anyway, so this one, what brought it down a little bit, and not by much. There's other things that brought it down, but there was some political undertones in here and some hidden meanings. Like I feel like a lot of movies have to like beat you in the head with a stick with it. It's like it's ridiculous. You don't need to. Just make it fun, enjoyable, brain dead if you have to. I mean, I'd rather watch a dumb movie than a political one. It's not a political movie, so it's a comic book movie for crying out loud. So stop making political movies based on comic books. Just make a comic book movie for crying out loud. But yeah, I mean, like it's definitely a departure from a lot of Marvel movies and that's the great thing about it's kind of like good and bad, right? It's good in the sense that they're always trying something new, which I respect and I admire. Any type of creativity is great, and Marvel always pushes the bar when it comes to that stuff. Winter Soldier, I think, is when it's first started. But there's always that Marvel formula. Like, I mean, the jokes are there. That's always going to be there. And that's where I was like, kind of glad that it wasn't in your face so much, like other Marvel movies. Like when there's tension and some of the scenes in Marvel movies, they put a joke for some reason, so you lose all tension. That's my biggest critique when it comes to their jokes. A lot of it hits, but most of the times the timing is wrong. In this case, jokes are fine. Their timing is just right, and there weren't that many of them. But what kind of dragged it down was, I mean, there was a lot of exposition. There was a lot of scenes where it kind of dragged. I think towards the third act is when I just almost like, oh man, looking at my watch, and whenever you do that, I mean, you're getting bored. And this is a long ass movie, so I didn't want to do that. I haven't done that much in Marvel movies, and this is one of those times, and that says something about the pacing. The editing in the first act was kind of weird a little bit. Can't really give you guys spoilers, so but in a way, the 2.5 hour runtime, I'm actually kind of amazed on how much they had to accomplish. They have to introduce all these characters and then try to make you love them, and then while like explaining a whole new world in a sense, a whole new story. And talk about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that's coming out pretty soon, a couple years or so. That's out there, right? In a way, maybe that's why they sent this movie. They showed this movie. It's probably because they're going to set up for that, because the themes in this movie, the story itself is out there. I mean, it's definitely not down to earth for a movie called Eternals. I mean, what do you expect? You got Celestials, which are like godlike beings or gods themselves, and then the Eternals are like the demigods, is the way I see them. I mean, just talking about all that stuff, right? That's why Marvel is so great, aside from the connectivity, but they didn't rush anything. They took their time with the characters we end up loving after so many movies, and they gradually pushed the bar a little bit so that you don't lose the audience, and they don't go, oh, that's way out there. I mean, I know it's a comic book movie, so what to expect, right? But in a way, all these movies they've created, they found a way to where they can gradually like push the bar a little bit, make you get a little bit creative, that it doesn't lose you, right? Well, this movie, I feel like, if it wasn't for those movies, there's no way you will totally get lost. And I can still see where some people would get lost in this movie. But anyway, I mean, I follow along. It's fine. I like fantastical stuff anyway. I love comic book movies. So for me, it's, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I can see where this might not be your type of flavor. It's definitely doesn't have that magic that the Marvel movies in the past years have made, and what's in their DNA. It's, I mean, like I said, the comedy is still there, but overall though, this might turn off some people, I think. And I think that's the biggest thing. There's just so different, and then there's some plot holes definitely, that and character decisions choices that the director made that I kind of don't agree with. The story, there's some things I don't agree. I mean, like, I don't have to agree with anything, and you have to agree with me. That's the thing about movies; they're all subjective anyway. But there was a moment where a character made a choice, and I kind of knew that was coming, and I was kind of hoping it wasn't gonna come, because this character was my favorite one in this movie, and unfortunately, it happened. Other than that, I mean, I like it enough to probably watch it another time, maybe, or might wait till it goes on streaming. Either way, you know, I mean, like, if I watch it again, you know, it still says something. If I don't, then that's really horrible, the movie. But you know, this movie, I do like the characters. Their powers are interesting and in a way limited for a movie called Eternals, in my opinion. I mean, I think Avengers had more powers, you know, in all honesty, you know, especially when Endgame hit. I think their powers for me were more dynamic, more vast, more diverse than this one. So yeah, that's where it's kind of strange, you know. But like I said, aside from some slow parts, some pacing issues, some character choices, director choices, visuals, there are some areas where it's kind of wonky, but for the most part, great visuals, graphics. CGI was still top notch, but there's some that you can notice. I said, favorite character, kind of, they did something to this character that I saw way ahead, but I don't agree with either, and wish they didn't go with it, but they did, and it is what it is. Other than that, you know, I can still recommend it. I think you guys should watch it for yourselves, regardless of Rotten Tomatoes or regardless of what people are saying about it. Watch it for yourself and make that decision yourself. Well, that's it for today, and thanks for watching as always. And if you want to support the channel, just smash that like button for me and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Bye bye.